Hello students, welcome to the lecture on change and development in industrial society. And after this lecture, we will be able to learn the following objectives. Discuss about the relation of society and industry, explain the history of industrial revolutions, describe the changing structure of the society due to industry, explain the first steps of industrial revolution in India, and discuss the impact of industrial society. Let us begin the lecture by understanding what an industrial society means. It refers to the society driven by use of technology to enable mass production, supporting a large population with high capacity for division of labor. Such a society is characterized by use of external energy resources. It makes urbanization desirable, leading to rise in cities and economic activity. Industrial Revolution and World. Industrial Revolution is the rapid development of industry in Britain in the 18th and 19th century, brought about by the introduction of machinery. It brought about a modern economy in which technological progress became a sustained and continuous process, resulting in reorganization of production, consumption, locational patterns, international relations, etc. Industrial Revolution was not the beginning of industrialization because manufacturing was already taking place. Human hours spent on manufacturing because as productivity increased, much labor was siphoned off to services. Innovation, because early and medieval Europe has seen inventions revolutionizing agriculture, shipping, communication, etc. Economic growth, because British economy in 1700 was very rich. After 1830, the structural change in economy accelerated due to railroads, telegraph, and other technological changes. Industrial society refers to society driven by the use of technology to enable mass production. 18th century Britain saw a wave of gadgets giving rise to engineers, mechanics, and thinkers to invent and design new machinery. John Smeaton, Joseph Bramah, Richard Robert, etc. Technological breakthrough can be explained as given in the picture. Let us study a few successful industries. The steam engine is the most famous invention in the last third of 17th century. It was built by a Cornish mechanic named Thomas Newcomen, but has a drawback of being noisy. It was converted by a Scottish inventor, James Watt, who improved on Thomas's model. The cotton industry. Another successful industry was the cotton industry because of the physical characteristics of cotton. It lent itself easily to mechanization and mass production and produced a good quality and inexpensive good. The mule became the industrial machine, now known as the mill. Invented in 1765, it was perfected in 1825 through the introduction of self-actor growth in mechanization of textile was not confined to cotton. Wool and linen became a part of it very soon. The iron making. The third industry achieving advancement was the iron making. The use of fuels and smelting of iron ore in blast furnace and the replacement of charcoal by coke were two major innovations. Apart from these three major industries, a few small industries also left a mark on the Industrial Revolution. These were, in chemical sector, two inventions were made. Firstly, manufacturing of alkalis by means of soda making process, and secondly, the use of chlorine for bleaching of textiles. Machine and instrument making. Paper making machine in 1800. Gas lighting in 1790. The iron bridge in 1779. Electromagnetic telegraph machine in 1795. Hot air balloons in 1783. Vaccination against chickenpox in 1796. The Industrial Revolution was accompanied by rapid urbanization. The rise in towns of Manchester and Glasgow attracted rural workers, which made living conditions unhygienic and unpleasant. The big industrialists also faced problems due to lack of a legal framework. Henry Cort lost all his money because of his partner, and his invention was used by others. The Industrial Revolution created a class of rich capitalists. However, most of them belonged to a rich class already, such as landowners, merchants, ship owners, etc. The most remarkable consequence of Industrial Revolution is the emergence of factory. All the people who worked from home or home-based operations moved to mills where production took place in large rooms under supervision, changing class structure in the modern industrial society. Class can be defined as a large-scale grouping of people who share common economic resources which strongly influence the type of lifestyle they are able to lead. In modern industrial societies, class can be classified into three categories: the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class. The upper class is categorized by the ownership of property. The middle class is characterized by possession of educational credentials. The lower class or the working class refers to the people who have no authority over means of production and engage themselves in manual jobs. The intensity of social stratification has reduced with technological advancements. The middle class covers a wide range of occupations and encompass a majority of population. They have access to many material and cultural advantages due to education, which lacks in working class. The middle is divided into three strata. First is the higher managerial and administrative middle class, including GMs, CEOs, and governors. The second is the lower professional, managerial, and administrative class, consisting of teachers, accountants, engineers, etc. The third is the minor supervisory class of receptionists, etc. In the recent scenario, middle is ever expanding while the other two classes are narrowing down. Let us study the reasons behind this phenomenon. Firstly, the importance of large-scale industries needs highly skilled employees in greater numbers. Secondly, the demand for working population is decreasing due to mechanization of tools. After discussing the middle class in detail, let us move our focus to the upper class. It is a group whose power is based on possession of factors of production. It is divided into two parts: the old money group and the new money group. The old money group includes people rich from generations. They inherit the lifestyle and outlook like their ancient members. The new money group includes people who have worked all their life to attain upper class status. Some of them may still possess the attitude and behavior of the previous class. Let us study some changes in the upper class. Increase in the number of self-made millionaires. The age range of the richest have reduced and they are mainly young of 20 to 30 years. The presence of ethnic minorities in the ranks of super rich was increasing. Despite being a narrowing class, significant changes have been seen in lifestyle of the people. Impact of Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution, which started with Britain in 1700s, spread all over the world, beginning with the United States. But environmental hazards caused by it could be seen years later. The Industrial Revolution had good and bad impacts. The bad side, the use of factories led to depletion of various natural resources. It had consequences to society by making women and children work in factories. The good side, the introduction of factories, new inventions, railroads, electricity development all contributed faster to the production of goods and materials. It also resulted in funding of schools and child labor laws. The Industrial Revolution marked major turning points in life of people. Let us study the effects of it. Population growth. Positive effect, large working population. Negative effect, poor working conditions and ill treatment. Social class. Positive effect, increased wealth of businessmen by making profits and investments. Negative effect, income gap between businessmen and workers widened. For country, positive effect, increased wealth in country, improving economy and diverse population. Negative effect, low hygiene, overcrowding in a particular area led to diseases and uneducated population. Industrial society and population, family and arts. Industrial society has great impact on following spheres of life. Population, growth in size of societies. The three factors determining population change are mortality, fertility, and migration. Trends in health and longevity. Information about prevention and cure of many diseases led to reduction in death rate and increasing life expectancy at birth. Declining birth rates and immigration. The birth rates reduced due to safe and effective means. However, immigrants from the third world keep the population size stable. Family. Causes of change in family. The family is economic unit only for consumption, not of production. Technological advancement brought in specialization, thus reducing responsibilities from the family. The parents have no much control over children's activity. Also, the democratic ideology lays more emphasis on individuals rather than the responsibilities. Leisure and arts. Due to commercialization of recreation, entertainment industry developed. The television occupies the most important portion of leisure. The mass media and political system enhanced capacity of envisioning and expecting improvements. History of industrialization in India. Colonial rule. India became an exporter of few sophisticated goods after understanding the importance of industrialization as a colony under the British rule. Industrialization since independence. Jawaharlal Nehru skewed trade terms such a way that emphasized import substitution and gave priority to heavy industries. The IDRA in 1952 laid foundation for administrative control over industrial capacity. India developed nationalized industries by subsidizing and funding them. Indira Gandhi promoted Green Revolution and tightened state control over the economy. The lack of success opened new avenues of small-scale sectors and deregulation. In 1991, certain sectors were opened up for private sectors, including electricity, oil, air transport, etc. It led to rise in GDP. Human factors for industrialization. Investment in human capital brings technological change. The gender difference brings low education to women. Also, women are considered a liability due to practice of dowry. The inequalities in education are a reflection of inequalities of social and economic power. The persistence of endemic illiteracy and educational background limits the freedom and well-being of the Indian masses and has a direct role in deprivation of women. India's current problems regarding industrialization. Infrastructure. Poor infrastructure is acting as a drag on the economy, and this is allowing foreign and private domestic investment to become the backbone of the economy. The telecom plays a vital role. The government ownership in telecom was characterized by underinvestment and outdated equipment. Advanced communication is becoming common with the help of foreign collaborators. The power problems are severe due to power cuts and voltage fluctuations. Investment in energy results in increasing production. The transportation sector is now privatized and results in better economy by construction of roads, highways and ports. Health and education. The common health problems in India are HIV, AIDS and malnutrition. Prejudice against women affects school enrollment and achievements. Public sector. The World Bank has turned down power loans in some states due to mismanagement in their government. Many electricity boards have become insolvent as a result of providing electricity at extremely subsidized rates and ignoring large-scale thefts of electricity. Corruption. Due to importance of government sector in economy, the corruption has become ubiquitous at all levels. The blame lies in the lack of transparency in the rules of the government, its procedures and powers. Tax problems. The tax system in India is also waiting for a reform. The income of the government is also constricted by inefficient taxation system. Labour market. India's labour laws hinder its growth and efficiency. There is need for flexibility in labour market. Financial sector. It cannot effectively mobilize and mediate capital to respond to economic changes. The improvements made have no effect on equity markets and bond markets. Summary. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learnt in this lecture. Industrial society refers to the society driven by use of technology to enable mass production, supporting a large population with high capacity for division of labor. Industrial revolution is the rapid development of industry in Britain in the 18th and 19th century, brought about by the introduction of machinery. Famous innovations of the industrial revolutions are steam engine, cotton industry, iron making, the chemical sector, machine and instrument making, paper making, gas lighting, electromagnetic telegraph, hot air balloons, vaccination against chickenpox. Class can be defined as a large-scale grouping of people who share common economic resources which strongly influence the type of lifestyle they are able to lead. Class can be classified into the upper class, the middle class and the lower class. These classes were further divided into subcategories. The Industrial Revolution had both good and bad impacts. India's problems in industrialization are infrastructure, health and education, public sector, corruption, tax problems, labor market, financial market.